Thanks for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Charlene Israel. President Obama is going all out to persuade lawmakers and the American public that military action against Syria is necessary. Congress returns from a 5-week vacation today, and many still doubt the U.S. should get involved. U.S. military assets stand ready to attack targets in Syria. But President Obama still has a lot of work to do back at home before that can happen. Senate approval of military action appears within reach, but it's an uphill battle for the president trying to persuade Congress.
Here's the thing is, this administration won't even react when Americans are killed in Benghazi. They've done absolutely nothing. And so here's a situation in Syria that doesn't involve Americans and they want to get involved. To me, they've got it backwards.
They have no viable plan for success.
I would vote yes in spite of the president's conduct. I just wish the president had laid this out better. I wish he quit backing away from his own red line, and I wish he was more of a commander-in-chief than a community organizer.
This week, a full public campaign. The president is set to speak to 6 TV news networks tonight, and tomorrow night, a rare primetime address to the nation. But President Obama may not be able to give the American people the information they're looking for. Over the weekend, a top White House aide said the U.S. lacks irrefutable, beyond a reasonable doubt evidence that the Syrian government is behind the chemical attack. White House Chief of Staff Dennis McDonald says the common sense test proves Bashar Assad is responsible.
So the question for Congress this week is a very simple one. Should there be consequences for his having used gases, chemical weapons to kill more than 1,000 of his own people, including more than 400 children? The answer to that question will be followed closely in Tehran. The answer to that question will be followed closely in Damascus. The answer to that question will be followed very closely by members of Lebanese Hezbollah.
To back its case, the administration is using this video of what it says is the aftermath of the August 21st chemical weapons attack. Syrian President Bashar Assad is trying to get the American people to hear his message. He spoke with PBS host Charlie Rose in an interview set to air this week. Assad denied responsibility for the attacks and pledged to retaliate if the U.S. strikes. President Assad has threatened to strike Israel in retaliation to a U.S. strike. In response, Israel has called up its reservists and deployed Iron Dome missile defense batteries near Jerusalem. Syrian rebels have taken control of a historic Christian village near Damascus. On Saturday, rebels led by al-Qaeda-linked fighters reportedly captured the Christian village of Mailula. It is home to 2 of the oldest surviving monasteries in the country. It's also known as one of the few places in the world where residents still speak Aramaic, the language of Jesus. Witnesses say Islamic rebels burned churches and attacked homes, forcing hundreds of residents to flee. Syrian Christians fear more such attacks if the radical Islamic rebels take over Syria. The United Nations says Syrian refugee numbers have grown to an alarming 2 million. Relief agencies are at work on the ground, but efforts to help them are approaching a breaking point. Many of the refugees are Christians who are now struggling to survive in neighboring countries. Gary Lane visited some of them and files this report.
The number of Syrian refugees is almost unfathomable. 5,000 people are now fleeing Syria each day. Their numbers have grown from 250,000 a year ago to more than 2 million today. That's about the same as the entire populations of Washington, D.C., Nashville, Denver, and Birmingham, Alabama combined. Now imagine moving many of them into the American states of Missouri and Oklahoma. Missouri is about the same size as Syrian neighbor Jordan. The population of Oklahoma is about the same as Lebanon. The resources of those 2 states, like the countries of Jordan and Lebanon, would be stressed to the max. Kristalina Georgieva is European Union Commissioner for International Cooperation.
Imagine also what this sudden movement of a city-sized population means in terms of the increased pressure on resources such as education, health, security for the countries hosting the refugees.
And Syrian refugee numbers would likely grow in the event of possible American missile strikes against the Assad regime. Many Syrian Christians are finding help and refuge right here in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley. They're getting a lot of international attention, and rightfully so, because of the war crisis. Their churches, homes, and livelihood have been destroyed. Many Christians like Nicholas George have lost family members. He owned a small grocery store in Syria, but fled to Lebanon because the war caused his business to fail.
Because of the fighting, everyone in my area was stuck inside their house. They could not buy anything. It was very dangerous for me even to try to open my shop.
Nicholas and his family now live in a small two-room apartment in the Bekaa Valley. He's found some part-time work making cinder blocks at a brick factory. His salary only gives him enough money to pay the rent and buy a small amount of food. But he also suffers from diabetes. He must often choose between buying food or medicine.
I'm always worried about my medicine. I feel weak and dizzy when I'm without it.
Some American Christians gave Nicholas enough money to purchase a 3-month supply of medicine. He says when it runs out, he'll need to rely on the generosity of suffering family members still residing in Syria to send help. CBN partner Heart for Lebanon learned about Nicholas's struggles. He's now among Syrian refugees receiving monthly food supplies. We caught up with Heart for Lebanon workers as they distributed food to Syrian Christian refugees in Zaleh. CBN News also accompanied them as they visited a number of refugee homes. So, as an escalating crisis is expected to cause more Syrians to flee their country, and as host countries struggle to assist them, CBN and partner Heart for Lebanon are working together to alleviate some of the suffering.
Their help is making life easier for us, and I'm now reading the Bible more and attending church regularly here. My faith in Jesus is stronger.
Partners sharing the love of Christ with those who don't know him, and bringing help and encouragement to strengthen the faith of those who do. Gary Lane, CBN News, Zaleh, Lebanon.
Turning to news here at home and that ever-widening NSA controversy, in 2011, the Obama administration convinced the FISA court to allow the NSA to deliberately search its database for phone calls and emails by American citizens. The court also gave the NSA permission to hold on to intercepted communications for 6 years, up from 5 before. In 2008, the court explicitly banned such activity at the government's urging. The Washington Post reports the changes reflect a significant expansion of NSA authority without congressional approval or public debate. The Southern Baptist Convention has barred its members from performing same-sex marriages, taking part in counseling sessions, or attending same-sex couples retreats. The SBC, which provides the largest share of military chaplains, made the decision following the Department of Defense recognition of same-sex marriage. The Pentagon said last month same-sex spouses of troops will be eligible for the same health care, housing, and other benefits as heterosexual spouses. The policy went into effect last week. Coming up, Moses had to strike a rock to get it, but today in Israel, water can go from the ocean to the faucet in less than 90 minutes. See how Israelis are creating streams in the desert after this.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill, and in this hand is a $20 US gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was. Help! And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a medical alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free medical alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes now.
For the past 65 years, one of Israel's biggest challenges has been a chronic water shortage. But this year, for the first time in modern history, the nation's water authority declared that Israel has officially beat the drought. And in fact, Israelis may soon have a water surplus. Here's a look at the innovative techniques that have helped boost Israel's water supply.
More than half of this country's land is desert. And we have a severe water shortage. Moses led us to Israel, a country that has no oil, no water, not too good soil, and we had to make the best out of it.
Thousands of years ago, Moses had to strike a rock to get water in the desert. Well, today Israelis are taking a slightly different approach, using technology and creativity.
In Israel, the main sources of drinking water are the Sea of Galilee and 2 underground aquifers. If rainfall is short, so is the nation's water supply. In 1953, Israel started building the national water carrier, a system of pipelines, canals, and reservoirs that carry water from the Sea of Galilee to the rest of Israel.
So we didn't have water? Okay, we developed water technology. One of the things that Israel has excelled in is taking what some people would see as risk factors or as curses and turning them into blessings. From the time of Bilam, the Jewish people have always been able to somehow turn the curse into a blessing.
The pipelines were a good start, but Israel's fresh water supply wasn't enough to support a growing country. So Israelis started looking west to the Mediterranean.
For thousands of years, the Mediterranean Sea was the center of the ancient world, the crossroads between Europe, Asia, and Africa. And now it's one of Israel's greatest natural resources.
Israel is desalinating so much of its drinking water, the majority of our drinking water's origin will be the Mediterranean Sea by the end of next year.
Today, Israel produces 450 million cubic meters of drinkable water a day. Through a process called seawater reverse osmosis, water can go from the ocean to the faucet in less than 90 minutes. The Israeli technology is now used in more than 40 countries around the world. And thanks to the Mediterranean, Israel may soon have something that was once unthinkable: a water surplus.
In this country, we don't have much water, except somehow, by the end of this decade, Israel is going to become a net water exporter. Just on today's news, there was an item about how Israel is stepping up the export of water to Jordan in order to supply water for all the Syrian refugees who are fleeing into Jordan.
While Israel produces drinking water from the sea, many farmers are getting water for their crops literally out of thin air. Ancient Israelites used stones to collect the dew every morning. Now an Israeli company is using plastic trays to do the same. The trays were developed by Talyad Technologies, which means God's dew in Hebrew. Every morning, these trays channel the dew straight into the roots of the plants. They also prevent weeds from growing between the plants and reduce water usage by up to 50%. Israeli farmers have always made good use of their water, but it wasn't long before they realized that in order to survive, they also needed to start reusing it.
Today, Israel recycles 80% of its wastewater. The closest competitor is Spain with 10%. So we recycle more than 8 times more water than any other country on the planet.
Israelis developed a way to purify wastewater using ultraviolet light. This treated water is then used to irrigate crops.
If you use it for vegetables, then you would like to clean it to the extent that you can almost drink it. So it is treated to a very high degree. Today, 60% of the water that is irrigating fields in Israel is produced water and not natural water. And I'll give you an example of our farm here on the kibbutz. We grow jojoba, and we use only sewage water, only treated wastewater to irrigate our jojoba. And this is done all over Israel.
Up next, from wastewater to saltwater, how Israel is turning curses into blessings. The conclusion of our report on Israel's innovative methods for using water.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
More than half of Israel is desert. That means the lack of clean water is a life or death issue. But Israel has done so well at cleansing water through methods like desalination and recycling that they're exporting their ideas to help other struggling countries. Here's CBN's Gordon Robertson with the conclusion of our report.
Israel may be short on fresh water, but the country's Negev desert is sitting on an underground ocean, too salty to drink or desalinate. So Israeli settlers found a new way to use it.
You cannot really fight nature. Nature will fight you back. We found out after the years that it's better to cooperate and to coordinate with what you've got.
Yoav Dagan is one of a growing number of Israelis who have left the ocean to go fishing in the desert. They build fish farms using the warm, salty water from underground. It's ideal for raising saltwater fish like tilapia, sea bass, and barramundi.
The place here is working without chemicals, without anything. It's very healthy, it's friendly for the environment, and it's good for us in a matter of the pocket. We are making good money, and this is the bottom line.
At this kibbutz in the Negev desert, even the fish waste is put to use. Every week, the water in these tanks is replaced and pumped underground to irrigate the nearby olive grove. The fish waste in the water makes an ideal natural fertilizer.
As you can see on the side, the olives are growing around the farm, around the fish, and are doing very well without any other chemicals, only by the nutrients of the fish.
Israel has taken this idea to other countries struggling with water and food shortages.
We're taking African villages, teaching them how to essentially build fish farms. If you look at around Lake Victoria, the Nile perch were dying, and Israelis are now going in to teach the farmers how to grow them in ponds so that you can actually continue to eat the Nile perch.
Over the years, Israelis also found new ways to use less water. And as always, they started in the desert.
There's the story of the Arava. Sometimes as 20 millimeters of rain annual fall, very harsh climate, and still, thanks to drip irrigation, this became the vegetable barn of Israel. 65% of vegetable export out of Israel, mainly to Europe, is coming from the Arava.
Today, even the driest parts of the desert are blooming, with help from a process called drip irrigation. The idea is older than the state of Israel itself.
When the first settlers came here, young people came from the city and they wanted to be farmers. And they came to Kibbutz Hatzerim and they faced many challenges. Arid land, high salinity, not enough water. And there was even a time when they considered moving to another place. But then Ben-Gurion came, who was a leader with a real vision, and he said, guys, if you want to move, it's okay, but further south, not back to the north. And we stayed here and we continued and we did some experiments, but still we were struggling. Then we met the guy who invented drip irrigation.
That guy was an engineer named Simcha Blas. He got the idea for drip irrigation after seeing a tree that was larger than the others around it. After digging around the roots, he found it was being watered by a leak in an underground pipe.
So this gave him the idea, but it took him some years, actually until plastic was introduced, to start and make experiments with drippers that will emit water in small drops. And this is basically drip irrigation.
Blas met the farmers of Kibbutz Hatzerim, and together they started a company called Netafim, which means drops of water in Hebrew. Soon they boosted their crop yield by 50% and used 40% less water to do it.
Drip irrigation saves a lot of water. Producing more, getting more, yet not harming the environment.
For almost half a century, the company has lived up to its slogan, grow more with less, not just in Israel, but in 110 countries around the world, from sugarcane fields in the Philippines to tea plantations in Tanzania.
You know, India is now our #1 country. The results, looking at the yield increase, were amazing. 50% of the farmers got an increase in yield between 25 and 50%. Another 25% of the farmers got an increase in yield of up to 75%.
Netafim even designed a system that works solely on gravity for places like Peru, where remote mountain farmers don't have electricity.
The plant doesn't know the difference. The plant doesn't know that you don't have a $20,000 computer behind the dripper. And it works beautifully. everyone is talking about water scarcity. 70% of the water that we have available in the world is used for agriculture. Now, if we save only 15% in agriculture, we can more than double the available water for drinking and sanitation. In Hebrew, we have a term which is called tikkun olam, which is fixing the world. And this is basically what drip irrigation does. This is my personal goal and challenge.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Operation Blessing gardening projects are helping communities in Guatemala. One village was buried in 3 inches of black ash when a volcano erupted last year. OB brought in experts to teach villagers how to build raised beds for crops out of materials like bamboo. Families attended weekly training on farming, fertilizers, transplanting, crop management, and more. Families are now able to grow a variety of vegetables and sell extra crops to earn additional income. Kudos to Operation Blessing, as always. Well, that's it for now on CBN News Today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter. Hope you have a great day. God bless.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. all the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.